you have these visuals trying to be created by Donald Trump's campaign. The messaging right now is that he's trying to create around what is clearly a very strong out-of-the-box run by Vice President Harris over the last 3.5 weeks. I want to play for you a little bit of the messaging that Donald Trump is right now trying to figure out. This was Wednesday in Asheville, North Carolina.
They wanted to do a speech on the economy. A lot of people are very devastated by what's happened with inflation and all of the other things. So we're doing this as a intellectual speech. You're all intellectuals today. You got windmills all over the place, and you have birds. You want to see a bird cemetery? Just go under a windmill. You see thousands of birds dead. The bald eagle, if you kill an eagle, they put you in jail for years. And yet these windmills knock them out like nothing. She actually called me weird. He's weird. It was just a soundbite. And she called J.D. and I weird. He's not weird. He was a great student at Yale.
What the hell is this weird man talking about? I don't understand. Yeah, they rolled out a message on the economy. He has a Price is Right moment with a bunch of groceries and numbers. But again, no real clear messaging. You have this mishmash of oh, yeah, they're going to give a speech on the economy, and then we start talking about dead birds under windmills. I don't...
He's not capable. But I'm struck by, Michael, the word you used, campaigning. She's campaigning. Mm-hmm. The Democratic ticket is out there campaigning to be president and vice president of the United States. He's not campaigning. He's playing golf and then doing some sort of news conference at one of his golf clubs and then doing the same thing. I'm just struck by this. One candidate is campaigning to be president. The other one's not really campaigning.
Let's talk about the candidate who's campaigning and the way in which her economic message is, in fact, so different than Donald Trump's, whatever that was. Here is Harris talking about middle-class principles. Olivia, I want to get your take on this. Let's listen and then we'll talk.
The middle class is one of America's greatest strengths. And to protect it, then, we must defend basic principles, such as your salary should be enough to provide you and your family with a good quality of life. Such as no child should have to grow up in poverty. Such as after years of hard work, you should be able to retire with dignity.
Olivia, it is an economic message, but it's also a values message, right? She's asking people, who do you want to be? Which kind of country do you want to live in? And I know as you and Joe do outreach to would-be conservative voters, it is hard for pretty much anyone to argue with the message she is putting forward, that no child should live in poverty, that Americans should be able to retire with dignity. That's not a partisan message. That is a message that is meant to bring new voters into the fold.
You know, and what you said there is exactly it. You know, when I see them try to paint her as this radical liberal, I'm like, what's so radically liberal about wanting to empower the middle class? What's so radically liberal about supporting American families? And she rolled out a plan of what she plans to do in her first 100 days of her presidency, and she talked about, you know, reducing costs to put food on the table. She talked about protecting Medicaid, Medicare, like, you know, protecting Social Security. I mean, she's talking brass tacks here instead of, you know, and that's a direct contrast to Donald Trump, who, like Joe said, is sitting at the country club. And all I took away from what Donald Trump has been saying in terms of the economy is Tic Tacs, right? Milk and maybe some other props. So Price is Right at the country club, I guess.
The vice president, when she gave that speech, she ticked through and she would give her proposals and then say, compare that with Donald Trump's plan. And she would have specifics, but also on Donald Trump's plan, but it's just very light and airy in what he had to say. My take on this whole, they wanted me to talk about the economy from Donald Trump, I actually think that it doesn't do a good service to the voters, because the economy is a real issue for people across this country, whether they are Democrats, Republicans, or independents, or non-party affiliated. And when Donald Trump got up on that podium to speak as though the economy really didn't matter and it was a waste of his time to talk about what people are dealing with in their everyday lives, right, about as we sit here and chat, it to me just seemed like he was so out of touch. And then I juxtapose that with this from Vice President Harris talking about working at McDonald's. Listen to this.
Later in college, I worked at McDonald's to earn spending money. Well, some of the people I worked with were raising families on that paycheck. They worked second or even third jobs to pay rent and buy food. That only gets harder when the cost of living goes up. When I am elected president, I will make it a top priority to bring down costs and increase economic security for all Americans.
Joe, to me, that sounds like someone who does understand the plight that folks are dealing with, somebody that understands that you cannot just be dismissive of the economy. And I mean, the Biden administration learned this more than most, given the fact that, you know, the first year we talked about transitory inflation, which was, I'm using quotes because it wasn't real.
Look, as a member of Republicans for Harris, a proud member, there are certain aspects of her plan that I have issues with. But it's a plan. And Alicia, as you said, it's a hopeful, positive plan. We don't talk about this enough. Trump was supposed to talk about the economy this week. He didn't. He couldn't. I don't know that he's capable. And it goes back to my thought. He's not out there campaigning. Is he really capable of talking about and focusing on an issue like the economy? I don't think he is anymore.
Olivia, what to Joe's point about, you know, the campaign itself, what do you see as what's going on right now with the Trump campaign when you've got, I was laughing with Joe this morning about this, you've got MAGA heads out there calling on La Savita and Wiles as members of the deep state sabotaging Donald Trump's campaign, which I find just laughable beyond words. But to Joe's point about the campaign itself, there is something to be said that since Kamala Harris has moved into this new space of actually challenging for the presidency, the Republican campaign as a campaign has been less than stellar and less than engaging voters around the things that they clearly had planned to talk about if Joe Biden were still the nominee.
Well, watching the campaign, I think it's imploded. I think what's happened here is they were caught flat-footed. I think they have nothing to counter this powerful ticket of two relatable people who are out there actually campaigning, talking to voters every day, showing that they truly identify with the challenges they face. I mean, how are you going to counter someone? She's been a prosecutor. She actually, you know, she talks about having worked her way through school like many of us did. I certainly did. I had to work my way through college. I mean, Tim Walz is out there. He's a former coach, former teacher. And so what does Donald Trump have? I mean, I guess, you know, I don't know, country club owner, maybe, lots of bankruptcies, convicted felon. Then you got J.D. Vance, who apparently hates women, talks about menopausal women, childless cat and dog ladies. I don't know where they're going with this. And so I think you're seeing a lot of turmoil there. I'm also, I wonder how long some of these people are going to stay in their roles. You just saw Corey Lewandowski come back to the campaign. I think Trump is grasping here, trying to figure out what to do because he really just has no plan, no actual policy objectives. And it's just a bunch of mudslinging. So I'm surprised he still has J.D. Vance on the ticket. I keep wondering if he's going to bump him off.
Yeah, that seems to be the word around town lately. It's going to be amusing to watch. Olivia, Joe, stick around because next, Vice President Harris has energized a potentially surprising part of the electorate. We'll talk about evangelicals for Harris. Let me say, evangelicals for Harris? Simone, did I just read that?
Yes, honey.
Evangelicals for Harris. We're going to get into it after the break. You're watching The Weekend.
Meet the Jennifers. Gen X, Gen Y, and Gen Z. Each planning their future through the Chase mobile app. Gen X is planning a summer in Portugal with some help from JP Morgan Wealth Plan. Let's go, Whiskers. Gen Y is working with a banker to budget for her birthday. You only turn 30 once. And Gen Z, her credit's golden. Hello, new apartment. 3 gens getting ahead with Chase. Solutions that grow with you. One bank for now, for later, for life. Chase, make more of what's yours.
What Tractor Supply customers experience is personalized service made possible by T-Mobile for Business. With T-Mobile's reliable 5G business internet, employees get the information they need instantly. This is how business goes further with T-Mobile for Business.
You've got a Pepto predicament, Ace. You overdid it on the loaded fries, and now your gut is in the gutter. Undo it with Pepto Fast Mounts, so you can keep on rolling. When you overdo it, undo it with Pepto-Bismol.
The virus that causes shingles is slipping in 99% of people over 50. It's lying dormant, waiting, and could reactivate. Shingles strikes as a painful, blistering rash that can last for weeks, and it could wake at any time. Think you are not at risk for shingles? It's time to wake up, because shingles could wake up in you. If you're over 50, talk to your doctor or pharmacist about shingles prevention.
Wait, Noom can design a personalized weight loss plan for me? Whoa.
I'm vegan. I have high cholesterol. Does Noom have plans for us?
Noom's plans can be personalized for both your needs.
How about that, bod?
Get your personalized plan today at Noom.com.
Not so fast. The general's coming with you.
Mom.
He gave us a break on our car insurance, and he'll look after you, too.
Yep, with flexible payment options.
Okay, but why is Shaq coming, too?
To show you how it's done. For a great low rate, go with the General.
Trains. Trains that sense what isn't on the schedule. Trains that use the power of Dell AI and Intel to see hundreds of miles of tracks, clearing the way so you arrive exactly where you belong.
Want the effects of Viagra, but faster? Meet Rose Sparks. They contain sildenafil and tadalafil, but Sparks dissolve under the tongue. Dissolvables work faster than old school pills. Connect with a medical provider at ro.co/sparks.
I was seeing this bra all over my Instagram feed. I'm sure you're seeing it too.
This is the most comfortable bra I've ever put on in my life. I love it because, one, it's not underwire. I hate underwire. It smooths out your back. It doesn't give you back fat or back rolls. You can wear this under a t-shirt and it wouldn't leave any marks or bulges. So not only is it super supportive, lifting and smoothing, but you have all that without an underwire and without a ton of padding.
So if you're looking at this and it's available, I promise you won't regret it.
Try risk-free. Free returns on all orders.
Want the effects of Viagra, but faster? Meet Rose Sparks. They contain sildenafil and tadalafil, but Sparks dissolve under the tongue. Dissolvables work faster than old school pills. Connect with a medical provider at ro.co/sparks.
Republicans for Harris held an online rally this week attended by more than